Hello and welcome, or potentially welcome back. We have another reading for you today, and I wanted to explore a different topic. I feel like I have no idea what's going to come out, but that is true for every reading I have done so far. I am continuously surprised. So I'm excited for this one too. Today we're going to look at one of your past lives. I thought that this would be a really fun activity to explore. So what we're going to be asking about your past lives is, first we're going to ask about who you were. Who were you in this past life? Just in general, any information that comes out, we'll take a look at. Next, we will look at your higher purpose. In your past life, what was your higher purpose? And lastly, we will look at if your past life self could give your present day self advice, what would it be? So advice from your past life self. We are going to use oracle cards and tarot today. I have some of the oracle cards already picked out, and these I have not looked at yet, but these are for a purpose. Your first group of oracle cards is for the first question, who were you? The second group of oracle cards is the second question, what was your higher purpose? And the third group of oracle cards is the third question, advice. So these are just the pre-picked oracle cards. We're going to have lots more tarot and oracle coming up. This video is timeless, so whenever you click on it. And also, if you enjoy the video today, please like the video and comment and let me know that you liked exploring this topic. Also subscribe so you get notifications of future readings. There are 3 piles today. We have pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3. So use your intuition, take your time, choose your pile. You may pause the video if needed for more time, and I will be right back with pile 1. Welcome, pile 1. This is your reading. These are the oracle cards that you chose, and we're going to get right into it. Who were you in a past life? So the first 2 cards are asking the question, or the first question that we ask is literally, who were you? So we have the healer and the father. Okay, this is super interesting, pile 1. So the father is a masculine figure. It suggests a man, a masculine, someone who was potentially leader of a family, perhaps leader of more than just a family, someone who was likely to be stable and secure. I'm hearing feeding his family, so providing. We also have healer. The word that's coming to mind is shaman. So you may have been a healer with a male healer within your community, pile 1. That's the energy that we're getting here. And this doesn't necessarily have to be of your entire community, but I feel that it was, with the strength of these 2 cards coming out, are very prominent, very clear, very concise. So the first suggestion of who were you in this past life is a male healer of your community. We're going to pull some tarot cards. One of the things that sparked wanting to do this reading was beginning to work with the before tarot for me, and I thought, what better use of a before tarot than to look at past lives. So let's pull some more cards and ask the question, pile one. Who were you? Who was this father healer? Who were you? Page of Wands, Judgment, Two of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, and the Emperor. Okay, so pile one, you really have a lot of masculine energy in your pile, especially with this Emperor card coming out. So the Emperor also is in a leadership position. So I did ask the question, were you healer of your family or of your community? So I feel like you were a healer of the community, perhaps in a very prominent position within the community. Perhaps you were I think you were in a pretty prominent position. So whether this is spiritual healing or physical healing or both, I think that you were pretty well respected. With the Page of Wands here in this deck, we have the Page of Wands learning new wisdom. He's literally reading wisdom from the tablets. We see, obviously because he's Wands, signs of passion, being very passionate in your work. I want to say also detail oriented, because he's reading the details from these tablets. We see other indications here that he's very wise, a very wise, passionate person, willing to learn, increase his knowledge, and continue on. And then we move over here with the Judgment card. So this is the before tarot. So normally in the Judgment card, it shows the spirits rising out of the bodies, out of the coffins. But here they are still in the coffins. And I think this is Gabriel. I think this is Gabriel's preparing to blow the horn to have them rise up. So you may have, part of your healing duties may have been to care for those ready to pass on, or end of life care. I feel like it's likely that you provided spiritual end of life care for those within your community. I also feel, pile one, that you created and maintained the balance of the health of your community. And the reason why I say that is this Two of Pentacles does speak of balance. In the before tarot, he's still creating that balance. He's still in the process of creating that balance. Things are still up in the air, but we know that what's coming is that those pentacles will be in his hands next, and everything will be in balance. So creating order from chaos was part of your job. So returning health from disease. I think both spiritual and physical was your job, pile one. I feel that you were highly valued in your craft. We already touched on this a little bit because of the strength of your archetype cards, as well as the Emperor card. You were highly valued and revered. But also we have this Ace of Pentacles, so I feel that you were rewarded for your efforts. Whether that pentacle implies that it was monetarily rewarded, but it could have also been in gratitude and trust and faith also. We do have these red flowers here along with the path. So I feel that people admired you, loved you even for the work that you did. And then we have the Emperor here. Now this is the before tarot, so I'm not getting the vibe that you were in charge of the whole community, but I am kind of getting the vibe that you were very prominent within it. So very revered, trusted. You were the male healer within the community. So that's interesting. And I wasn't sure that we would get such a clear message, but that's a very, very clear message. So I'm just going to move these up a little bit and make room. Oh, no. Well, I will do that, but there was some more I want to do. I want to get you a couple more oracle cards. And continuing to ask the question, who were you? Who were you in this past life? Who were you, pile one? Who is pile one in this past life? Okay, and one more for this question. Who were you? Who was pile one in this past life? I was so excited I almost forgot to grab the other oracle cards. That's so cool. I didn't expect anything to be that clear. I wasn't sure what to expect. It's amazing. Okay, this guy won't leave me alone, so let's take him. Okay, so pile one. Crossing bridges. Oh my goodness. Pile one, would you look at this? Crossing bridges. It's time for healing, connecting, mending, and releasing. So yes, healer. I feel spiritual and physical. And this card is really reminding me of the Judgment card here. So you cared for people, not only in life, but also when it was time for them to cross the bridge. Yeah, I really feel that you provided end-of-life care, especially spiritual care. And no wonder you were so trusted. So probably a very caring individual in your community, pile one. Pine spirit, purification. So I think that in order for you to have done this work, part of your journey as you grew from a young past life into an adult past life was you underwent spiritual purification so that you could help and heal people without being triggered within yourself, without, especially if you were looking at card number 30, which is, people, community. So in order to heal people at spiritual and physical levels, purifying yourself so that you didn't have issues of being triggered, or that you were fully able to devote yourself to others because you yourself had been made so pure. And crown games, right use of power. Yeah, so I really think that you were a higher up within your community, very high up. I think that you might have been like almost second in command of your community, and that you were a very wise leader. Like, I really am getting a lot of respect and even reverence for you, for the work that you did and for who you were. Very respected, very pure, healing, masculine energy, pile one. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, let's continue on. The next question we want to ask is about your higher purpose. Now, I find it hard to believe that if you were the healer of your community, a very revered, spiritually pure, giving person, I'm guessing that you were living your higher purpose. But let's look at it from the perspective of Oracle and Tarot. So the next question we ask for you, pile one, is what was your higher purpose in this past life? Okay. we have rotation and the sun. So I know that when the sun card comes out in this deck, we allow it to influence all other cards in the reading, because that's how powerful this particular deck's sun card is. It embodies the energy of clarity, clear thinking, and clear knowing, just absolute clarity, wisdom, intellect. So a very, very wise person. We also see here with the rotation card that the rotation card talks of doing the same thing successfully, repeatedly, over and over again. And through repeated practice, repeated successful practice, as well as fulfilling your goal many, many times, it's a process by which one can achieve spiritual enlightenment. So it's a unique practice where the goal is not to achieve spiritual enlightenment, but through the process of doing the same thing over and over again, not expecting different results, expecting success because you're continuously successful, and that's why you're doing it over and over again. That a byproduct is spiritual enlightenment. So your higher purpose, I feel, was the spiritual enlightenment gained through the clarity and success of repeated action. So perhaps your repeated action was the healing, and I feel that a very large part of this person's healing profession was end-of-life care. So over and over again in this past life, you may have helped others cross over with great clarity. So I feel that you providing the ultimate level of comfort and care repeatedly to people in your community was your higher purpose. So the question that I'm dying to know, pile one, and I would so love it in your comments, is, are you a healer now? Or in whatever your chosen profession, do you find yourself doing the same tasks over and over and over again? And have you perfected that task so that you're able to do it repeatedly successful? Because if that's a part of your life today, that would be very telling that that is coming from a past life. So please let me know. I'm so interested. Okay, we're going to continue on with your higher purpose, your past life's higher purpose. And there's a train going by, and I haven't heard a train like all day today. And whenever I hear the train go by, I highlight what I'm saying. And now there's one going by. So absolutely, please let me know, pile one. In your current life, are you any type of healer? Or in your profession, do you do the same thing over and over again? Let me know. Okay. So what was your higher purpose in this past life? 8 of Swords. King of Cups. The Hanged Man. 4 of Cups. And 7 of Cups. Okay, lots of cups in your higher purpose. Okay. Okay. I see lots of cups because you are so caring of others. Okay. I'm just getting messages. So I feel like this 8 of Swords card I feel that it was both for you and for those around you in your community. One of your higher purposes was, yeah, I'm going to say getting unstuck, absolutely, with this Eight of Swords and the Hangman card here. And also, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you could have felt a little stuck. Like you could have felt maybe like you weren't getting anywhere. You were, but I could very much see how it could feel like you weren't really getting anywhere. So your higher purpose was gaining that clarity, that mental clarity of knowing that despite feeling stuck, you weren't. So getting over that feeling of being stuck, breaking through that blockage. The King of Cups, part of your higher purpose was mastering your emotions to a degree where you had mastery of your emotions, but also you were able to help others with their emotions. That this wasn't a solo journey. I'm being guided to look at the dolphin in the back of the card. Dolphins are not solitary animals. They live in family groups. They're very social. They're just as social as humans. They need their community. And so did you. Community was super important to you. So being proficient with your own emotions to the point where you can guide and lead your community's emotional needs as well. The Hanged Man, again with that getting unstuck energy, learning how to see things from new perspectives and continue to learn and grow. We had that Page of Wands card earlier where he was reading the details off of the tablets, and I feel like that action helped you achieve your higher purpose of learning how to, I'm getting think outside the box, learn new ways of doing things, which also would have helped you help others in the community, because every person would have had their own unique needs. So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation, especially if you're helping somebody with end-of-life care. They have their very individualized needs, their own fears, their own health situations that need personal attention. So you would have had to really be emotionally stable enough to help others and see many possibilities. So also with your higher purpose, yeah, there's a lot about emotions here. How to regulate your emotions. So when you were younger past self, it was very difficult for you to learn that mastery of emotions. Here we see the youth drinking. Is it water or wine? We don't know, but he's drinking in excess. Probably a little bit of self-medication going on. So getting past that. Here, not wanting to look at what's going on around you and behind you. So I feel like these two cards were part of your journey, were part of your younger past life self journey. The journey it took to master your emotional side. Because of you're looking at others' pain all day and maybe it was a real struggle to not internalize that, to not take it all in to yourself, to learn how to successfully understand your own and others' emotions without needing escapism. To part of your higher purpose was really healing that aspect of yourself in order to serve others. It's beautiful. That's beautiful. Pile 1, please let me know if this is kind of personal, so you do not have to. If you feel safe and comfortable, if you have ever had to heal feelings of escapism in any way, let me know. If you feel safe and comfortable to do so. It's only because I'm nosy and so curious about you, Pile 1. Okay, couple more oracle cards about what was your higher purpose in this past life. Fogged in, yeah. Go slow, take time. So I felt like it took you a while, and I feel like this aspect is the fogged in, this feeling foggy, using escapism to purposefully feel a little foggy, because it was just the emotions that you felt as you were growing into your role were overwhelming. So you had to learn how to deal with that in a healthy way. So part of your higher purpose was that clarity. This is gorgeous. I love how it just comes together. That's amazing. It just comes together. It's crazy, but awesome. Okay, let's continue on. Your higher purpose of your past life, pile one. Oh, okay. I've got a card jumping out at me. I will grab it. Pegasus, transcending. Okay. With 23, reducing to 5, a card of change for transcending. Okay. So yes, I feel that your higher purpose was overcoming your younger self's confusion, overwhelm, mental fogginess, and into this sun energy, this very clear, caring, purified individual who healed the community. Okay, and one more for your higher purpose in your past life, pile one. Root girl, the disowned self. Okay, so this is a little bit more of a serious aspect to what we were talking about earlier. So this isn't just escapism going on over here. This was actual disowning yourself. This was coming from a place of not accepting yourself, which is a little more serious than I had anticipated. You weren't just drinking and not looking at your problems. You were disassociating almost, or maybe exactly, from some of the aspects of your life. So you had a lot to overcome emotionally. I'm glad this card came out, because it allows me to see more clearly how intense of a journey this was for your past self. This was not just, oh, I should drink less or whatever. This was a very serious issue that you had to overcome, that you had very serious emotional blockages that you had to work through and that you had to heal within yourself. That's also probably where some of the stuckness came from. And especially with the Eight of Swords, where it's an imprisonment of our own making. In this card, the female is being led by this figure cloaked in black, but the Eight of Swords is actually mental imprisonment. So you had a quite severe issue as a younger past self, where parts of you were disowned, not accepted by yourself, and you had to overcome those. You had to transcend those within in order to become purified, in order to gain clarity, in order to achieve success over and over again, in order to gain prominence. Maybe you were born into this role. Maybe your father before you was also a male healer in your community, and maybe that was a lot to live up to. Maybe as a young past life self, you questioned, how are you going to be able to do that? And it wasn't because you didn't have the ability to, it was just because you were still a young boy past self who just hadn't learned and had all the experiences and had the time for his gifts to grow in yet. So that might have caused a lot of doubt, uncertainty for you. But as you grew and came into your power, you figured it all out. You transcended those limitations and came into your higher purpose. So there potentially, I mean, one of the reasons why we would look or consider past lives is to help us in present day. So you can consider if any of those things are true for you in your life right now. And if they are, then I would say the message, or one potential message, is that you know you have it within you to overcome those things because you've already done it. So you can, again, be successful. You can be successful again in those challenging energies. So the last thing that we're going to look at is messages to you right now from your past life self. So we have Ray. Yoga and exercise are essential to your well-being, peace of mind, and spiritual growth right now. So I think that I can understand if you were in a past life a spiritual and physical healer in your community, why your advice may be to take care of your body through yoga and exercise, and to take care of your well-being, peace of mind, and spiritual growth. Like, of course, a healer would be very concerned about those things. And we have Sonia. I bring you a message from your deceased loved one. I am happy, at peace, and I love you very much. Please don't worry about me. Okay, so what I find, I actually getting a little bit of chills. What I find really interesting about the Sonia card is, pile one, I feel that in your past life you provided a very high compassionate level of end-of-life care. So you would have seen many people cross over. I believe we had the bridge card, and yeah, we had the judgment card. So you would have been witness to many people as they crossed realms, as they crossed out of the earthly realm and passed on. So I feel that these two messages are really in alignment with the other cards that have come out saying who this past life was. Someone who, as a healer, cares about your well-being, and someone who provided as a provider of end-of-life care wants to give you a message from those who have passed on. And the message is that they are happy, at peace, and they love you very much, and not to worry. So they may have over and over again witnessed other people passing, and through that over and over again learned lessons from the deceased loved ones. So that's a very beautiful message. We're going to get some tarot asking the same question. Advice from your past life self. Page of Swords. 9 of Wands. The Moon, which is super interesting because we had the Sun. 7 of Wands. And Death. Okay. So, some advice. Say, continue on with your learning. And it's interesting because when the Page of Wands came out, it came out in this position. And it was a card about learning. And I think that the advice is to continue learning, especially as the Swords energy in this card. Mental clarity and truth. And that makes sense because we had a card we had cards about gaining mental clarity. We had the Sun with mental clarity. We had Fogged In about learning mental clarity. So the advice card to you in your current incarnation, your current present self, is learn mental clarity. We also have a card of advice of the Nine of Wands, which is maybe to know what to guard against, know what to let in, and know what to keep out. Because in the Nine of Wands, he or she sort of builds a wall out of the wands in order to keep people out. And he also ends up holding this wand and stands to fight anyone or anything that they don't want to let in. In this card, we do see a wolf trying to get through that wall. So this person building the wall may fight off that wolf. Now the wolf could be anything you need to fight against, any sort of injustice in your life, or anything in your life that is not as you would prefer. Maybe with the mental clarity, maybe it's simply doubt, fear, or fogginess. Maybe it's the escapism or the disowning of self that your past life person went through. We have the Moon card, which talks about using intuition, which talks about maybe not seeing that there is a path, but you may not be able to see all steps clearly, but you can walk in faith and using your intuition forward. So walking forward, continuing on the path even when things don't look so clear. I feel like I could have said that a little bit better, but that's how it came out. I also am reminded of the fogginess, the fogged in, and the emotional walls that your past self put up. So I'm sure that at times your past self person, your past self felt like they couldn't see the way forward, but they continued on forward anyway. So they want to offer that same advice. Even if you can't see every step of the way forward, keep going. Keep going. We have this Seven of Wands card. So Seven of Wands is a somewhat similar energy to the Nine of Wands, where this person is guarding a little bit. This person, usually these wands are coming at him, and he or she, as the case may be, only has one, but he also has the higher ground. We see in this deck, his or her hands are in the position almost of prayer. And Seven is a card of more of a spiritual nature. So rely upon your spiritual nature. Remember, your past self person was a very spiritual being. They were a spiritual healer. So your past self person would advise you to rely upon your higher power, your higher self, source, spirit, the universe, whatever you call it, and however you honor and trust in your higher power. And we have the card of Death, which is a card of transformation, change, and rebirth. So allowing yourself time to change and grow. I feel that your past self person did have to go through a deep transformation within their life in order to go from their younger past self into their fully developed, fully realized adult self that they underwent. Didn't we have a transformation card? I think we had a little transformation card. And I feel that they did have to, that as a younger self, they were confused. Oh, train's going by. Confused, scared, full of doubt, escaping, disowning parts of their self, not accepting themselves, and they had to undergo this deep spiritual transformation, death and rebirth, in order to grow into who they were meant to become. So their advice with the Death card is allow yourself to transform. Try not to be afraid of change and transformation. That there is a huge amount of growth being offered on the other side of that. So just a couple more oracle cards for you, pile 1. I keep wanting to call you pile 3. So I obviously haven't done pile 3 yet. I don't know. I have not seen a single one of pile 3's cards. I don't know anything about what's going to happen in pile 3. But if you feel called to, watch that pile also, only because I keep almost calling you pile 3 and I don't know why. So that's all I can think of. Only if you feel drawn to it, and then go ahead and watch it. I have 3 more oracle cards for you, pile 1, and the topic is advice from your past self. Okay, we have infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life. Okay, so this is a card of obviously infinite abundance. When you look at the book, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words, I'm getting excited. When you look at the book for this card, the actual translation of this card in this deck talks about a period of cycles, that life is a series of cycles, and the cycles, you know, obviously up and down. So you may have recently or are currently going through a cycle that is down, that things may be a struggle a little bit, and this card is an indication that that part of the cycle is coming to an end, and more abundant cards are coming in, or more abundant parts of a cycle are coming in to your life soon, if they haven't started already. So that is in alignment with allowing things to change. So relying on your higher power, gaining clarity, going forward even when most of the path isn't clear yet, and allowing things to change. Okay, next card. Advice from your past self to your current self, to your current incarnation, from your past life self. We have Forest Temple Enlightenment. Okay, so I feel that the person from your past life did achieve a very high level of enlightenment. I feel that especially in the topic of moving on, crossing over, I apologize for the noise of my dog, moving on, crossing over, and spiritual matters. So advice might be to allow enlightenment in your own current life, in your own current incarnation. So whatever path that you feel called to allowing that to happen. There's so many paths to enlightenment. Isn't there a saying, all paths lead to enlightenment? But allowing that in, allowing that to be part of your life, perhaps knowing that that is a possibility for you personally. We also have your past life person achieved, one of the ways they achieved enlightenment was doing one thing successfully repeatedly. So if that speaks to you, that could be something you can take into consideration. And that doesn't have to be necessarily anything big. I've heard of people weaving rugs and passing the, I don't know all the terminology, but passing, what is it called? The stick that has all the thread on it, and as they pass it in between the warp and the weft, I think it's called, repeatedly, that repetitive act can cause trances and downloads and things like that. So there's all kinds of things. It doesn't have to be anything as grand as healing, people, as healing people on a grand scale, although it can be. It doesn't have to be anything as grand as repeatedly helping people cross over, although it could be. It could be, if something's speaking to you, if that process is speaking to you, then because it came out so prominently in this reading, that's why I'm bringing it up again. So your final card for advice from your past life self to your present incarnation. We have Netcaster. Preparations come to fruition. So the advice that you are being offered from your past life self is to prepare. That prepare for success, specifically. To have this really positive mindset. Maybe you haven't been preparing for success. I hear a lot people say, prepare for the worst. Have you heard that? Prepare for the worst and hope for the best or something like that. But your past life is saying, don't forget to prepare for the best as well. Don't forget to prepare for success. That in order to have success, you need to be prepared for it. And your person was very successful repeatedly. So, who are you going to listen to? That person on the corner who is not successful, and that's why they're always saying to prepare for the worst? Or someone who healed their community and was a prominent figure and is saying prepare for success? Now, that being said, this is a tarot reading. Take it as it resonates. You make your own choices. You create your own future. And I'm just reading what the cards say. So with that in mind, the cards are saying that your past life self, who was a successful, prominent, revered spiritual and physical leader within his community, wants you to remember to also prepare for success. And that is your final message, pile 1. I'm blown away. This was so cool. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me some type of comment, because this was the coolest thing ever. This was one of the coolest things. I'm so blown away. I loved doing this reading for you. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, subscribe so you don't miss out on future readings, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. So, okay, I'm just taking a breath. Pile 1 was incredible. So, I have no idea what's going to happen in your reading. But if it's anything like Pile 1, hold on to your hats. If you're wearing a hat, if you don't have a hat, maybe you need a hat so that you can hold on to it. But let's find out. Okay, so we're going to ask 3 questions today of your past life self. The first topic that we are going to explore, Pile 2, is just the general question, who were you? And we're going to let the answers come out. We're going to use Oracle, Tarot, and then more Oracle. So these 2 cards are the cards that you picked for Pile 2. And these 2 cards are the cards for who were you? There are beginning cards to start the topic, who were you, Pile 2, in your past life. We have the Hunter, and we have the Village. Okay. So the Hunter, in one aspect, is relatively straightforward, as in one who hunts. It's not always clear what the Hunter is hunting in this type of scenario, because unless you're getting a hit, Pile 2, if you're like, oh, I know what I hunted, then that's easy. Except I don't know, because I'm not you. But we know that the Hunter does carry within itself, at least to some degree, and sometimes to a great degree, an aspect of violence, especially if this is a past life self who needed to hunt for survival, perhaps for your own survival, as in feeding yourself, but more likely hunting for the village, feeding the village. And honestly, I'm getting the energy of it wasn't just food. You may have, as well as hunting and providing food, Pile 2, you may have also been a type of almost scout, to scout out warring neighborhood villages, the villages that were somewhat near yours, maybe you didn't get along with, or maybe you were, as a village, you were mistrustful of them. So I feel like I'm getting the energy that there was violence in this past life, both in the sense of providing your village with the animals needed for food, and perhaps even other people in other villages. So if that doesn't resonate for you, it's okay. That's just the energy that I'm picking up on. With this village card, I feel that, so the village card is a card of having a place, a village of which you call home. One aspect of being very straightforward. A village is a village where you live. But part of the village in this deck is needing to get away from the village in order to experience a broader sense of life. That pile 2, you weren't someone who was content to sit in the village and work in the village all day. That perhaps one of the reasons why you were a hunter was because you needed something to get you out of there occasionally or very often. You might have felt perhaps somewhat trapped, or maybe that you didn't, like, trapped within village life was too restrictive, too routine, too much of a harsh schedule that you couldn't adhere to comfortably, that it was very uncomfortable. You might have felt not quite accepted for who you were in the village. And so by being a hunter afforded you that regular option of getting out of a village, experiencing more of the world at large, and quite frankly working off some of your excess of energy. I feel a lot of energy coming off this hunter card. Someone who wanted to move, someone who wanted to be on the move, someone who wanted to act. I'm hearing the word decisively. You had the correct, at this time, remember, I'm not talking about you now, I'm talking about a past life self. You were someone who had such an excess of energy that you were well suited to these tasks of hunting animals, and perhaps I don't feel like you raided villages, but you might have. I feel like there was still violence there. I feel like there was some violence in this past life self. I'm really getting that energy, that hardened type of energy that violence in one form or another was a part of your daily life. And part of you might have had to shut down from others and maybe shut down from experiencing community a little bit in order to deal with that aspect of your life. So it was both getting a very dual nature, that it's not so much that you reveled in the violence or that you really enjoyed it. It was more of in order to get out of the village on a regular basis, it was something that you had to do. Like, it was more of a means to an end. You had to complete the task of hunting successfully in order to stay a hunter, and you needed to be a hunter because village life was not for you. It was way too restrictive. You needed that sense of freedom. You needed a village to belong to so that you did have a place to call home and a sense of stability and safety, but it was too much for you to be there all the time. So the way that you found balance was to become, to become a hunter. I feel that my throat's even getting a little wacky. I feel that you had difficulty relating to others. Maybe creating very close relationships was very challenging for you in that lifetime, in your past life. We're going to continue on with some tarot, and we're going to ask the question, who were you, pile 2? Who were you in this past life? Who was this hunter? Who were you, pile 2? King of Wands, Queen of Swords, the Empress, Six of Wands, and 2 of Pentacles. Okay, pile 2, we have Court cards and an Empress. You may have been, and I was getting this energy, you might have been a feminine, you might have been a female. It's possible that you were a male who displayed very strong feminine energies, but potentially you were a female hunter. And that actually makes a lot of sense for these 2 cards to come out together. Because if you had, you know, I don't know what time period this was, pile 2, but if you were living in a village and in a time where you had to hunt for food and you were a female, to exhibit those qualities needed to hunt and to scout other villages as a female, I'm just going to say, no wonder you felt like you didn't quite fit in. No wonder you had to get out of there, because village life for a female during a time where you had to go out on horseback and hunt was very restrictive, right? The only other option for you probably would have been to get married and do laundry all day, you know, cook food, pick berries, do laundry in cauldrons over the fire, raise children, and that life just wasn't for you. And okay, let's keep going. So I feel like that's the vibe I'm picking up. Like I said, I hope you got a hat, pile 2. I hope you went out or whatever, or reached over and got a hat and put it on your head so that you can hold on to it. Because, okay, I was not expecting this. I mean, it's so cool, but like, that's okay. All right, let's go with it. Let's continue to explore and see what else comes out. So we have the King of Wands. So I feel like I'm getting that you were very in control of your passionate side, that you had skill with it. We have this lion lying in front of the King of Wands. The lion is also in the Strength card. So I see you as a very strong individual who had to learn to master their passionate energy. And I think that that's probably how or why you became a hunter, or that you mastered your passion through being a hunter, potentially. I feel like that's more true. That you had all this energy and passion that you didn't know how to express. And when you went hunting, maybe things just clicked into place. And you know, getting out of the village, using energy, even the violence, even if you didn't love it, even if it was just a means to the end, it took that passion, you know, to get into those situations against a wild animal where it's kill or be killed at that point. Maybe it wouldn't be at that point if you had stayed in the village, but now you're face to face with a wild animal and charging it down. At that point, it very much is kill or be killed. So you mastered your passion and gained an incredible amount of strength. We have my cat Nymphadora just crawling up onto my lap. Whenever she shows up into a reading, it's because that pile needs a little extra love. And I do apologize because she can be somewhat disruptive, but she's here to offer you her support and love during your reading, pile 2. Okay, so we have the Queen of Swords. So what I'm getting for you in this situation, pile 2, is the mastery of the truth about yourself. We see here, this is the before tarot. So these are images right before the traditional Rider-Waite tarot cards. So for the Queen of Swords, you see a paw, you have a paw coming out. So for this card in particular, the Queen of Swords is about to be crowned. She's receiving her crown and about to put it on her prepared head. So who you were is someone who had to go through a process to accept their passionate nature, had to go through a process to see the truth about themselves and about the world around them. And I feel like you did that really oops, I'm so sorry, that was the cat. Let me try and put her down. She'll just hop up again, but let me give it a try. Okay. So I feel that you were very successful with that, with the Empress card here. That you mastered your passion, you mastered your personal truth, and you grew into who you were meant to be, that you found your path in your life, in your past life self. And here we have the Six of Wands with you being victorious. So not only were you a hunter in this village, you were very skilled and very victorious. You were so skilled at what you did that you were celebrated by the other people of your village, that they crowned you with this wreath and crowned your weapon of choice with the wreath and acknowledged your success, acknowledged your skillfulness. And you were able to take this non-traditional lifestyle that you built for yourself and keep everything in balance and create this life that was completely non-traditional for your village, for your expected roles, and really create something in balance and create your own life. Pile 2. So I have 3 more oracle cards for you, asking the question, who were you? Who were you? Pile 2. And we have begin now. Take your first step. Okay, so pile 2, I feel like in your past life, you were always ready. Like you were always ready to go. You were perhaps full of energy. You always felt like now is the time to do something. Now is the time. You were always wanting to be on the go. You might have been up first. You might have been the first awake in the village. You might have been the first to set off in the morning for the hunt. You might have also been the last to come home. And just by the amount, the large basket that person has on their back, you might have been the first to leave. And we have the train going by. If you've seen any of my videos, when the train goes by, I mentally highlight whatever I'm saying. So you may have been first to leave in the morning, last to come back, and with the biggest haul, with the biggest amount of meat or whatever you were hunting. And that's why you were crowned and so victorious within your village. So what else? Who were you? Who were you in your past life? Pile 2. Water spirit. Manifesting dreams. Yeah, I feel like that's really true for you, that you had to be your own person. You had to make your own dreams come true. Nobody was going to hand you this lifestyle that you created for yourself. You had to make it happen. And also we have the otters in this card. Otters are a very playful, energetic energy. So I feel that part of the reason why you were a hunter or a huntress was because for you that was the only sense of freedom and play that life could offer you at that time. And that was very important to you. We also see the otters in this beautiful shining river here, surrounded by lush beauty. I feel like it was important for you. We also have the beauty of the countryside and the long path. So like it was really important for you to get out and see the beauty around you. And being a huntress or a hunter afforded you that opportunity. And beloved with radical acceptance. So you came to really accept yourself. The only way you could have created that type of life for you is to not try to hide who you were, to be your authentic self. And that took a lot of courage. It took literally radical acceptance of yourself. If you hadn't accepted yourself to such a high degree, you would have ended up doing laundry all day instead of getting on your horse and touring the countryside and being the most successful hunter or huntress. So that's incredible. Okay, so that's what I have on who you were in the past life, and that's, I did not expect that. That's incredible. That's so cool. The next topic we're going to ask about is your higher purpose. What was your past life's self's higher purpose? So we have blood and we have alchemical wedding. Okay, let me look for a moment. Okay, I've got some messages. Let's start in. So blood, I do see literal blood for you because you were a hunter. And I did, feel energy of violence being a part of your past life self. So with the blood card here, that certainly supports that theory. But in this card of this deck, it also talks about honoring your body through the knowledge of the blood. And the quote, and I hope I don't mess up the quote, but it's from a Game of Thrones. And I believe it's Arya's dancing instructor, her sword instructor, I think. It's been a while since I've watched it. But don't they say something like, now I'm questioning if that's even the right show, but somewhere on TV it's water on the inside. Maybe it's not from Game of Thrones. But on some show they talk about the water, meaning your blood, needing to stay on the inside. And it's, people are mostly blood or mostly water, and the water needs to stay on the inside. If you know where I picked that up or what show or movie that's from, please let me know in comments, because now I think maybe it's not from Game of Thrones. I'll probably have to Google it after the reading just to satisfy curiosity. But this card talks about, through recognizing the nature of blood in the body, leads to understanding the body as a spiritual vessel. So, oh wow, okay. So what I'm getting is that through being a hunter and having experiences with literal blood during your day-to-day life, that you came to spiritual knowledge about maybe the meaning of life, or I'm gonna say you found the meaning of life through death, which is a very dualistic thing to do. And here with the alchemical wedding, that kind of supports it, because it's about the marriage of elements to create something new. And it can also be to create spiritual enlightenment. So I feel that your higher purpose, pile 2, in this past life was to take elements of physical life along with your duality of nature and learn higher truths and spiritual enlightenment through this dualistic nature. So your purpose, your higher purpose, was to shed your dualistic nature and become whole as one. And the way that you did that was through examining the process of life and death and seeing blood as part of the body and learning from that. Okay, that's crazy. Let's continue on. I'm going to ask the tarot, what was pile 2's past life self's higher purpose in that past life? Pile 2's higher purpose in that past life. Have Knight of Swords, Six of Cups, Temperance, Justice, and the Sun. So we have 3 major arcanas within 5 cards. So your higher purpose in this past life, as revealed by the tarot, would you have the Knight of Swords? And in this deck, it does look quite violent. I had questioned if animals were the only thing you were hunting. And I do see this figure on the horse in armor with the sword raised in what could be potentially described as a village with people who they have helmets on, but they don't have armor. And they're outside a tent. So this could be you either leaving your village to go hunt or coming into a neighboring village and wreaking a little bit of havoc. And we have the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is a card of innocence, of playful, childlike energy, which is nothing like this Knight of Swords. So the message that I'm getting between these 2 cards, which are the only minor arcana here at the moment, is again that almost like this alchemical wedding, this reconciliation of these dualistic energies, that you had these forces warring within you and reconciling them into one was your higher purpose in this past life. And I think that's really supported with this Temperance card. The Temperance card is a very balancing energy. It's a card that is specifically about learning to balance. It's also right in the middle of this row. It's almost the connecting energy of you learning and you achieving. So your higher purpose really was, which is crazy, it's as reflected in these cards, it's being reiterated, unifying, warring, opposing energies within yourself. We have the Justice, which again is balance. It's, you know, the ultimate card of balance with the scales. Achieving peace with this dove here, and balance within yourself on a higher level, achieving your spiritual wisdom, your spiritual growth, your enlightenment. The Sun, clarity, enlightenment, card of enlightenment. Your higher purpose in this past life was achieving enlightenment through the balance of the warring energies inside you. That's amazing. That's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to get 3 oracle cards. Continuing on with this topic. What was pile 2's higher purpose in this past life? Answering the call. The time is now. So, okay, we have we have a couple cards for you about now, about the energy of now. begin now and answering the call. The time is now. So this was meant for your soul, your past life soul, during that lifetime to happen. That those events all were orchestrated by a higher power, because that life was the time to reconcile those energies within. So the higher purpose was completing that part of your soul's journey during that lifetime, reconciling the dual nature within you, also going from that sense of violence into a sense of innocence. So a return to innocence was also part of it for you, pile 2. Yeah, Phoenix. Transmutation. The transforming and transmutation of the warring energies, taking the two opposite aspects of yourself and achieving oneness and wholeness. Hold on, I have a cat attacking a candle. 1 minute. I apologize for that interruption. It's all fun and games when the cat is jumping on me and purring, but it's a whole other thing if it sets itself on fire. We do not want that to happen to my beloved Nymphadora. But it's also very fitting because a phoenix, rises from the ashes, but we don't. My cat is a cat, not a phoenix, so let's not call that into being. Okay. So the transmutation, the healing of your dualistic nature into oneness, into wholeness, from violence to innocence. And one more card for you, please. One more card for pile 2 on past life's higher purpose. Eyes of the eagle rising above the fray. Okay. So part of your higher purpose was rising above a lot of aspects of the current life that you are in. Rising above your expected role within your community. Rising above your chosen role that was very violent and bringing it into peace. And rising above this warring dualistic nature inside of you and bringing it into wholeness and oneness and enlightenment. So that was your higher purpose during that lifetime, pile 2. So I just am going to move the cards upward because we have another topic to explore. And I need some room. I really hope that you feel called to comment about anything in this reading that is standing out to you, that is calling to you. I would love to know. I would love to hear from you. Okay, I just want to keep those cards there so they can be highlighted through the reading. Okay, pile 2. The last topic we're going to talk about is if your past life self could give your present self advice, what would it be? So advice from your past life self. And here are the oracle cards that were pre-pulled and that you chose in the beginning for pile 2. We have Akasha. You are a spiritual teacher. You have the ability to counsel others and help them awaken their spiritual gifts and divine life mission. Okay. And we also have Caressa. You are at the end of a cycle in your life. Call upon your angels to comfort you and guide you to your next step. Happiness awaits you now. Okay, let's take a look at these. So your advice from your past self. Your past self recognizes your present self's ability and gift of teaching and counseling. It's recognizing your ability and gift to awaken others' gifts and mission. So that does make sense with who your past life person was, because they had to work very hard to achieve their life mission. They had to go against everything society and convention tried to put on them in order to live the life that they wanted to. So that is something that your soul may have already mastered. So if you are going to leave a comment, let me know if you follow your own very unique path that a lot of maybe your peers don't follow. That might be something that you've mastered, so it may come easy to you. But from going through that process in the past life, now you have that gift. And now you're able to help others if you choose to. We also have the Caressa. You are at the end of a cycle in your life. Call upon your angels to comfort you and guide you to your next step. Happiness awaits you now. Okay, so I think that your past self person would be able to recognize this within you because they had to complete that very difficult cycle of reconciling their dualistic nature. So if they overcome that huge cycle, they are able to recognize when someone else is about to overcome a huge cycle. And they're seeing that within you now. They also realize that during that time, as you complete the cycle, that could be a time of uncertainty, maybe even fear, anxiety. So call to angels for comfort and guidance if needed and if desired, and if that's within your practice. And that on the other side awaits happiness, that they're telling you that they were much happier after they allowed themselves to transform. So they're sharing the wisdom that if you allow yourself to continue on with that cycle and allow that cycle to end, while difficult, it has many rewards. Okay, we're going to get some tarot and ask, what is pile 2's past self advice to their present self, to your present incarnation? What advice does your past self want to give you? The King of Swords, King of Cups, Page of Cups, the Fool, and the Three of Pentacles. Okay. So with this King of Swords here in the advice position and the King of Cups, actually, these first 3 cards, okay. One message with these 3 cards is to learn more about yourself. Be willing to see and learn truth about yourself and continue on until you master it. Learn and feel about your emotional self and continue on until you master it. This is a continuation of learning about your emotional side. It's suggesting you're more at the beginning stages potentially with your emotions than you are with your mental, but continue on going forward, and you may need to have assistance with this in the way that the seagull is dropping the fish into the cup. You may need assistance in this topic, only if it feels right for you. But we do have the seagull here dropping the fish in, and then we have the seagull again here in the King of Cups. So it's almost like if you do accept assistance, you'll get there faster, and then when you attain mastery over your emotions, you'll have that person who gave you assistance almost celebrating for you. And we did have call upon your angels to comfort you and guide you. So if the assistance you'd like to call in is angels, that's one option. But however you feel comfortable and confident about receiving potentially receiving assistance about your emotional state, how you use emotions, how you view emotions, your emotional body, and any healing and knowledge that requires for you. Pile 2. And the Fool. So your person, your past self person, did have a few cards about start now, begin now, answering the call, the time is now. And here in the Fool, we see that message repeated as they don't want you to delay in starting projects. Your past self is urging your current self, your current incarnation, to go for things, to go for it, to be brave. Your past self person was incredibly brave. And they're imbuing you with that same quality so that you can move forward and start new things. Anything you've been holding off, the dreams that you have, go for your dreams, they're saying. And with this 3 of Pentacles card, again, your past self person is asking you to consider working with others in a collaboration. We have the 3 of Pentacles is a collaboration between these people on a larger project. So if you have large projects, whether it's just it takes a long time or you need help or it's difficult, consider collaborating is another piece of advice from your past life person. Okay, so we have 3 more oracle cards and we'll close out your reading, pile 2. And we're continuing on advice from your past self. Okay, pile 1 had that card also. Fogged in, go slow, take time. Okay, so your advice from your past self is to get started, to go ahead and start. You know, the time is now, answer the call, begin now. But that doesn't mean you have to go super fast. So they want you to start now at almost a slow and steady pace. Don't forget, your person, your past life person, had to overcome a lot of duality within them. So that urgent energy to start, hurry up, get started. But then once you start, okay, go slow, is a little dualistic. So they want you to start now, but that doesn't mean that you have to go at this incredible speed. You can start now and go slow and take your time. Allow yourself the time to learn as you go. Air spirit, knowledge. So yes, they are advising you to gain knowledge as you go through your experiences. They do feel that knowledge is an important part of your current journey. Let's see what else. Advice from your past life's self to your current life self. Perfect storm, the courage to step into life. Well, if that's not the perfect way to end your reading, pile 2, I don't know what is. But I feel like this, if any card could sum up your past life person, this is it. The courage to step into life. Feel like your past life self really lived their life to the absolute fullest. That they didn't let anything or anybody stand in their way to create the life that they wanted. So their advice is that the surroundings, your current surroundings, are in alignment right now for you to create and go for your dream life, to step into life, to cast aside fear, to begin now. And that doesn't mean to rush full speed ahead, it just means start now. You can take it slow, collaborate with others when you need help, let yourself gain knowledge, but really live your life. Live a full and rich life. Take it upon yourself to create that life that you want. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Like, I didn't know what to expect when I started this reading. I had no idea. That is such a beautiful message. I have a little bit of tears or something going on. Maybe I need to work on my emotional body. But that's so beautiful, Pile 2. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. If you enjoyed this reading, please hit the like button. And please, please comment if any of this resonated for you, if any of these aspects, if you have any very strong feelings towards anything that I said that could be an indication that that's going on in your current life or something you can look at, or if you feel like, hey, yeah, I do have mastery over that aspect that you talked about, please let me know. I'm so curious. I am absolutely fascinated. So hit that like button, send me a comment, and please subscribe so you don't miss out on future readings. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Welcome, Pile 3. This is your reading. And before we get started, all I have to say is about Pile 1 and Pile 2 is wow. Wow sums it up. Both piles were incredibly different, yet equally amazing and equally surprising. So I am very interested to find out who you were in a past life, because this journey so far has been unexpected and absolutely wonderful. So I'm really excited to get into your cards. I'm sure you are too. These are the cards that you chose for your pile. These are some oracle cards. We are going to add tarot and more oracle onto our journey. So sit back, relax, let's find out who your past self was. The first topic we are going to explore for you, Pile 3, is to simply ask the question, who were you? Who was this person in the past life? Okay, so we have the Lover and we have Gnosis. So with the Lover card, we have the energy coming through of a very sensual life lived. Not necessarily only in romance or through love, although that's part of it, but someone using all their senses in a very deep and fulfilling way. Someone who found absolute joy in their senses through all 5 senses, maybe even more than 5 senses, and that is what led you through life. The feel of texture on your hands and in your body, the taste of foods that you found delicious or even horrible, just the taste, reveling in the qualities of the sense of taste and touch, listening to the sounds of music or nature or the voice, any sounds, seeing beauty in everything around you. I'm hearing architecture. You may have really enjoyed the beauty of architecture, but using all of your senses to experience life, a very sensual life. With the Gnosis card, these two cards really work well together, because the Gnosis card is really about coming to enlightenment through the use of the senses. So using the physical world around you to propel you along your spiritual journey. So a very sensual person, very connected to your senses. So pile 1 and 2, we saw a lot about what they did, like on what actions they took, and what their life was like through their actions. But for you, pile 3, I don't have a lot of information on that yet. Maybe some of that will come through, but rather we see what was important to you. And what was important to you, or who you were, is someone who lived this very sensual life. Very sensual. That your senses led your life, both physically and spiritually, which is really interesting. Okay, we're going to grab some tarot, and we're going to continue on exploring this topic of who were you in this past life. I'm a little bit in awe and a little bit confused by these energies. It's telling a lot without telling much. But this was what was most important for us to know about this past life, was living through the senses. That embodied who you were. Let's find out more. This card, I think, has come out in all piles now. The 2 of Pentacles. And I believe the King of Swords has also. So they came out in, not necessarily in these positions. I don't remember the positions, but they have now come out in all 3 piles. Okay, and the train's going by. Whenever the train goes by, if you watch my readings, when the train goes by, it's called to heighten whatever I'm currently talking about. And what I was talking about when I heard the train go by is that those cards came out in all 3 readings, even if in different positions. Okay. So we have the 2 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the 2 of Wands, the King of Swords, and the 6 of Cups. So the 2 of Pentacles talks of creating balance in your life. This is the before tarot. So we know that in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, that person on the card is holding the pentacles in balance, like in balance. He's balancing them. Here in the before tarot, they are either falling and he's reaching to catch them, or he is reaching them out of the sky and he's creating balance from imbalance. So I feel that you were a very balanced person, or perhaps you had to create balance for yourself. And we know, because of the card that comes next, because of the 2 of Pentacles in the traditional tarot, that he does balance those pentacles. So we know that you were able to achieve this. So you are probably balancing yourself through your sensual experiences. You were very much in your body, pile 3. You very much lived life through the experience of your body. We do have the Ace of Swords here. So we see you achieving new ideas and new clarity. You may have very highly valued new ideas. You may have sought new experiences, especially sitting next to this 2 of Wands, looking at the world. You probably, especially living through your senses and being really grounded within your body as you lived your life in this past life, valued very highly seeking out new experiences and new things to explore as you went forward in life. So really valuing the new is what is one thing that I'm hearing. The King of Swords, achieving a sense of mastery of your thoughts and clarity was very important to you. That although you lived very much in your body, you still had a very balanced way of life around you. Look, we don't have, yeah, we do have cups. Do we have all that? Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have each suit represented here, don't we? We have Pentacles, Swords, Wands, Cups. Yeah, so you lived a very balanced life. You may have lived very sensually in the material world, but it wasn't unbalanced. I mean, we do have the Gnosis card here of you achieving spiritual enlightenment through the senses. So you were very highly evolved here. You highly valued new experiences. You highly valued keeping your life in a steady balance and in a flow, because within this card we do have the flow of the back and forth and keeping everything in balance. And we also have this very sweet, playful energy. So I'm giggling because pile 3, if this is true that you are a very sensual lover energy, you are also quite playful and quite giving. And you may have even come off as, well, I guess sweet. Yeah, you were a very sweet person. Sweet and playful. There's a sense of innocence in this card. So as you continued on the exploration of your world through your senses, you maintained this air of innocence. So a wholesome attitude. And I feel like that is, no wonder you were so balanced, because you were really able to balance all these energies. I know that for a lot of people, it can be challenging to stay within their bodies to that degree. Like, a lot of people are really challenged by that, because as we meet obstacles and hardships within our life, one thing that some people tend to do is to detach from their bodies a little bit, because it can be very painful to stay in them. But you were able to transmute the world around you into a beautiful experience for yourself. So in this past life, had a beautiful sensual experience. I feel that you really enjoyed everything that life had to offer through the senses, taste, sounds. I mean, I'm thinking going to the symphony. I don't know what time period this was, but music and beauty and food and everything that you could enjoy, you enjoyed. I'm getting smells, like especially the smell of fire, like on a torch or a campfire, the smell of food cooking, the smell of grass and nature and flowers. We have the flowers here. You may have been a stop and smell the roses kind of person, that you achieved happiness through the sheer physical experience of the world around you. Okay, let's continue on. We're going to get 3 more oracle cards and ask the question, who were you in this past life? Who was this person? Wise leader. You are a beacon for others. Oh, look, she's holding a torch. Okay, so you may have been either an actual physical leader or someone that a lot of people looked up to, or potentially both. So you were someone who was able to lead the way within your community, whether a large or small community. I don't know yet. I don't know if that will come out. but people looked up to you. I feel that people saw your positive experience of life and looked up to you because of that, because they realized they wanted some of that too, in such a way that what you were doing was so successful. You're this very balanced individual who enjoyed life in every way possible. So people really admired that and wanted you to teach them how to do it too. Reflecting pool with stillness. So you did have the capacity to be still within yourself. And we see here in reflecting pool that her reflection is actually a swan. So I feel that upon reflecting on yourself, you saw yourself as part of the beauty that was in the world. That's so beautiful. Pile 3, that's so beautiful. You saw your place in the world and recognized how beautiful it was. How awesome is that? It's pretty freaking awesome. For someone who goes through life acquiring experience of beauty and seeing themselves as part of the beauty of the world. I have chills. That's amazing. I love that. I love that for your past life self, Pile 3. I hope you feel that way. I hope you see the beauty that you bring to the world. I love it. I love it. One more oracle card asking, who were you in this past life? Perfect storm. Pile 2 had this card in a totally different spot. So the courage to step into life. Okay, I totally get why this card came out for you, Pile 3. In Pile 2, it was very different. A very different message. But for you, Pile 3, the courage to step into life. You really had that courage to experience life in all its ways. Remember how I was talking about for a lot of people to be that level of in their body, experiencing life in all senses to that extreme degree, to the degree where you use that quality of experiencing your senses to the point of spiritual enlightenment is a huge degree that a lot of people have to choose a different path to achieve enlightenment. I mean, that's an incredible degree to use your senses. But you had the courage to do this. You had the courage to experience all facets of life through your senses to an absolute amazing degree. And that's who you were. That's incredible, Pile 3. So I'm just going to reorganize these cards a little bit to make room for our next topic. I just want to place them up here. I still want you to be able to see these and for me to be able to remember what's come before. Okay, so you guys actually got an extra card. And I think in my other reading, you guys got an extra card. So my Pile 3 is the extra card pile lately. It fell out as I was getting your oracle ready, so I took it. So let's look at these. We have Sparks of Light, Calcification, and we have the Blue Temple. Okay, so I'm actually going to read this from right to left. So with the Blue Temple is very much a card of vivid, rich imagination. It embodies the color blue in all its variations and forms. And with the card of imagination, I can really see this for you, that part of your life was using your imagination to also enrich your senses. So although you were very much in your body and living through your body, you didn't ignore any of these other facets of life. you had a very creative spirit within you. Your imagination was one place of beauty for you. So perhaps during times when you felt there wasn't enough beauty around you, or if you weren't in a beautiful environment, or maybe because you loved new things, if you felt stuck in one place, you were able to use your imagination. And I think I forgot to tell you, Pile 3, I'm so sorry. I didn't expect this reading to go on so long, and I'm so thrilled that it has, but I think I forgot to tell you that these cards and our next topic of discussion is, and our current topic of discussion is your higher purpose as your past self, your past life self. What was your past life self higher purpose? So these cards are the beginning of getting into that topic. So one of your higher purposes was the expansion and use of your imagination. We also have the card of calcification, which in this deck talks of the transmutational qualities of fire and all the qualities of fire, which is something I personally really enjoy, being a fire sign and identifying with the element of fire and using fire myself as a tool of transmuting, especially challenging energies. So this was one of your higher purposes, was transmuting, and one of the ways that you did that was through the use of fire, changing energies, alchemizing one thing into another. You perhaps alchemized your visions that you saw in your imagination and then had them become form in your life that you could then experience. That's very beautiful. With the Sparks of Light card is really a card about spiritual direction. So one of your higher purposes in your past life was gaining and following spiritual direction and learning how that worked. So especially if we have this very vivid imagination and then this very big energy of fire, which at times, if we're not careful, can get out of control or even create chaos. We also have this more of a gentle but focused guiding direction. So part of your higher purpose was to take all of this energy and use it to follow your own spiritual path, which is very beautiful. We're going to get some tarot and continue on our exploration of this topic of what was this life's, your past life's higher purpose. For pile 3, we have that card coming out. I'm just going to push these over a little bit. Put that there. What was your past life's higher purpose? Okay, let's take a look. Pile 3, we had this, I don't remember which pile it was, in the same position, I believe. 8 of Swords, 10 of Wands, 9 of Swords, 8 of Cups, and 10 of Pentacles. Okay, your higher purpose of your past life. Okay. So we do have an element of being trapped in your thoughts, potentially, or holding yourself back. We have a card of taking on burdens and worrying about them, or worry and anxiety in general. Okay. I kind of feel like what I'm seeing is your higher purpose was to free yourself from your own expectations and limitations, to choose what was right for you, and to unburden yourself, to release and let go your worries and anxieties, and understand what was not meant for you. The process of understanding what wasn't right for you and how to walk away from that. So I feel that your higher purpose in this past life was really about letting go of all the expectations that you put on yourself, that you allowed to hold you back. Learning how to release your burdens and anxieties and limiting beliefs to achieve this Ten of Pentacles, to achieve this ultimate happiness. And the Ten of Pentacles card, sorry, I'm getting excited, so my words are running together. This Ten of Pentacles, being the suit of Pentacles, is about earthly happiness. The Ten of Pentacles is more encompassing than that, and so was your pleasure, but we're seeing the success of your higher purpose represented in the suit of Pentacles, which makes sense for you because your past self was such a sensual, physical person. So for your happiness to be represented in Pentacles makes absolute sense. And we see that you even achieve spiritual enlightenment within the senses. So your higher purpose in that past life was to transmute your imagination. Now this card of imagination, the Blue Temple, talks about both positive and negative imaginings. So part of your negative imaginings was this limitation that you put on yourself, these burdens that you took on trying to please others, this worry that you carried with you and kept you out at night and kept you up at night and allowed that anxiety. And look, these swords have blood on them. So we're not talking about a little bit of anxiety. Like, you were really, it was severe limitations, severe burden, severe anxiety. And part of that was this vivid imagination that you had. It was both positive and negative. It showed you both the happiness that you could achieve and the horrors. And that was really holding you back. So transmuting that with the qualities, whether the actual physical element of fire or the qualities of fire, allowing that to burn away these negative or undesired aspects of that, and to receive guidance. What was left was your true spiritual path, and following that into your Ten of Pentacles. That was your higher purpose. Okay, we're going to get 3 more oracle cards on this topic. What was your higher purpose in this past life, pile 3? What was your higher purpose in this past life? Okay, we have distant thunder, clear the air. So I really see that for you. I really see that your higher purpose was going from this almost self-tortured state, this state of being where you felt quite tortured, and clearing the air, letting it all go, deciding what you could walk away from, what you didn't need anymore, and how to walk away from it, how to change that. That was part of your higher purpose. So higher purpose of your past life self, pile 3. Okay, thicket of thorns, uncertainty. So we talked about the feeling of anxiety, a severe anxiety, a severe burdening, a severe self-limitations, severe limiting beliefs, and learning how to get past all that, how to free yourself from that. That was part of your higher purpose, freeing yourself from yourself. And we have these butterflies of transformation that you are able to transform. I find that so interesting, that whole free yourself from yourself. I think that sums up your higher purpose. And the way you did that was absolutely beautiful and unique, and in a way that I think most people can't, through the use of the senses, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful way to experience life. Jeweled web, connectivity, that's beautiful. I have chills. I have chills. Seeing how all the parts of your life are connected, allowing them to connect. And what's almost ironic about that is once you dropped everything you thought you needed, or everything that you tried to impose upon yourself, once you dropped all that, then you saw all the connections that you had and needed. And I think that's really beautiful. Okay, we have one more topic to explore. So I'm just going to move the cards around a little bit so that I have plenty of room. I'm loving your reading, pile 3. In each reading there has been something absolutely beautiful that I never could have imagined. And of course your reading is no different. I think it's beautiful. I just want to, so we can remind ourselves of these cards coming out. Okay, our last topic of discussion to explore this past life self is to receive any messages that your past life self would give to your current self. So messages from your past life to your current incarnation. So we're going to start with some angel messages. Yvonne, you have a special bond with animals. Your pets on earth and in heaven are watched over by angels. And Danielle, I am the angel of marriage and I am assisting you right now. Okay, those are very specific messages and very specific pieces of advice. So let me know in comments if you feel that you have a special bond with animals, and if you feel that you are being assisted by the angel of marriage. So I feel that this card, Daniel, first of all, marriage doesn't necessarily have to be with a person in the form of a romantic marriage. Marriage could be finding the right profession for you, and you marry your passions with your employment. It doesn't necessarily have to be a personal marriage. I am getting the vibe that it could be a personal marriage or a relationship, but it doesn't necessarily, if that's not for you, it could potentially be finding the best job for you, finding a community of which you feel you belong, finding the community where you want to live. Those things are also types of marriages. I know that's not a legal marriage, but that's still an energetic marriage. So we also have the bond with animals. Oh, I think that it's very relevant that your past life person would give you this as advice, because your past life person, it lived their life through the senses, so they very much care about your personal relationship right now, to in all parts of your life. Part of experiencing life through the senses, you could call it having a relationship. My relationship with feeling the table and the texture. My relationship of tasting my tea and those flavors. And of course, the relationship between myself and another in all forms. So because they're such a sensual, living through the senses person, they do very much care about your personal relationships. And I'm surprised by the bond with animals message, to be honest with you. Although, and speaking of relationships, I have pets, and I have very special relationships with my pets. My dog is absolutely my best friend and the being in this world that I trust the most. And my cat is insane. My cat is a playful ball of energy at all times. And I'm always so surprised when she comes up and loves on me, because usually she's still very young, because usually she just loves running, chasing, jumping, but she's still very affectionate. So having that special bond with animals absolutely is one beautiful thing about the world. Okay, let's get some tarot about advice from your past self to your current incarnation at this time. And I feel the need to go this way. 7 of Swords, 9 of Cups, Page of Wands, King of Pentacles, and 6 of Wands. Okay, so advice. I'm just going to move these cards up so you can see them, hopefully. Okay. So with the 7 of Swords card here in the advice column, I think one message of advice from your past self person would be to take care of who you let in around you. That could have potentially been a pitfall of your past life self's person. They enjoyed sensual experiences. They enjoyed relationships. They could have let the wrong person in. And so now they're cautioning you to be careful, because the 7 of Swords card is about deception, lies, thievery. And this is the before tarot. So we see this card getting ready to steal the swords. And the swords could be thoughts, ideas. So the advice is to be careful with who is in your environment, to be careful with your possessions and ideas. Be careful with your ideas. Be guarded with your ideas, as appropriate is really coming through for you, pile 3. We have the 9 of Cups card, which is the wish fulfillment card. I love how there's children peeking through the cups. That's awesome. And we see him in the process of filling up the cups. So the message that I'm getting is to take time to replenish. Both replenish yourself and take time to work on your dreams and goals. Page of Wands card in this deck is a lot about learning, especially learning about what you're passionate about. We see him kneeling down to read these tablets. So to me, it's an indication that he's learning the intricate details of his chosen passion of the moment. So your past life person, being a very passionate self, wants you to take the time to pursue your passions, to fill the cups of your passions, to learn about your passions. And they talk to you of stability, that King of Pentacles. So that's an aspect that I hadn't even thought of for your person. One thing about being a very sensual person and living in a sensual way, and the Suit of Pentacles, is also about enjoying that stable bounty that comes with it. So enjoying your secure, stable bounty, taking time to enjoy it, recognize it, having gratitude for all that's around you. I feel like that's one thing that your past self person really did every day, was to have gratitude for all that was around them. And we have this Six of Wands card, this card of being victorious. And in this position, the advice is to celebrate more, to celebrate yourself more. I feel like that's something else that your person did very well, was to take time out to celebrate everything, even the little tiny things. They celebrated life. They celebrated themselves. So they want you to take time to have gratitude for all the wonderfulness that's around you, and to celebrate yourself and celebrate all the things around you. That's very important to them, and they would like to see you have that quality within your life as well, pile 3. Okay, we have a couple more oracle cards to close out your reading. This has been so amazing. I have loved doing this reading. I had no idea what to expect. It took such a turn that I couldn't even imagine. It's amazing. And we're about to close out your reading. Thank you so much if you stuck it out this far. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's get you a few more oracle cards. Advice from your past life self. Taking shelter. The answers are within. Okay, this is very much like Hermit energy. We know in the traditional Rider-Waite Hermit card, it shows an older man, regardless of your gender, holding the lantern. And in that lantern is the star of inspiration. I can't even think anymore. Inspiration, hope, intuition, the higher self is what's in that lantern. And on this lantern we see pictures of stars, and the answers are within. So your advice from your past self person is to listen to yourself and allow the answers from within yourself to come out. I think that also makes a lot of sense, where your person really, your past life person really had to overcome their own doubts within themselves and free themselves from that. So if that's your past life, then one skill that you have now achieved is being able to free yourself from limiting beliefs, from self-doubt, from being burdened, from excessive anxiety. So the advice here from them is you do have that skill, and you can go within and free yourself from those things if it's needed right now. You do have the skill of going within and hearing. I say hearing because I hear a lot, but hearing, receiving, seeing, knowing those answers that you seek. Smelling, if that's for you. Okay. Stag spirit, leadership. So your past life person is calling you to an energy of leadership, that you have leadership skills within you, and to use them within your life as appropriate. And with the stag spirit, this stag's antlers are somewhat glowing light. So along with the answers are within card, you have a very gifted spiritual energy that could help others around you when you take on a leadership role. And your last card is Winter's Dream, gestation period. So the advice within this card, it's very similar to this taking shelter. And look, another winter card. We have this very snowy scene with the chimney lit. And now we have Winter's Dream, gestation. I'm sorry. It's been a long reading and I love it, but I'm not talking my best at the moment. Gestation period. So this is a good time, according to your past life person, to spend some time going within, seek answers, and allow yourself to develop. You may be developing a new idea. You may be developing a new way of being, but you're developing something new, and give it time to allow it to grow, is what your person is saying. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Pile 3. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for your beautiful energy. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. I would love to hear a comment. If this video resonated for you, if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed the format, if anything within this reading stuck out to you especially, I would love to hear about it. And subscribe so that you don't miss out on future readings. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.